welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, the only show on Indian television right now where you, the MSME, get center stage to voice your opinions and thoughts. This is ET, our special daily initiative to give MSMEs and entrepreneurs the opportunity to be front and center on every industry and area that matters to you. Today on the show on Direct Connect, a panel of experts answering your questions, and later on the show we will feature executive mod car trends as well as Zonnett on a small giant segment. On our show today, we have T.R. Bajalia, the former DMD of SIDBI, as well as Manish Bansal, CEO of SME Value Advisors, talking to you, the MSME, about all the questions and queries that have come in to us from you on different aspects of your business. Do take a look. Manish, Mr. Bajalia, thank you all very much again for being with us here back tonight to answer all the questions that are coming in. Our first query is coming to us in social media. Deepak Malik has sent us this question on our Facebook page. You too can write in to us. Do stay tuned. At the end of the show, we'll tell you how you can send us your questions on social media. Deepak says he is in the moving and packing business and says what should be the top 3 to 4 things that he should focus on when it comes to talking to his customers and helping them understand really what is the difference between him and his competition. What would you have to say?
I think he is a service provider. And any service industry, it is the quality of the service, I think, which goes the long way, and he has to be different from his competitors. If he has to survive in this competitive world, he has to offer something extra than his competitors.
I don't think that he has to go anywhere. The best thing, Sunanda, for every service provider to do is to go and ask the customer what he or she is looking for. If they can't answer that question, different way to put is what are your pain points? Because if we can pay attention to that, answers all lie there. Then the next question to ask is, if these are the pain points, what do I offer and what my competitors do? And I don't think then it's very difficult for anyone to figure out where could be the points of differentiation. But it's very clear, as Sir said, points of differentiation are very, very important for any service business to succeed and grow.
So Deepak, the suggestion is that you talk to your customers, understand from them what you're looking for, and of course use quality as the benchmark, how you're differentiating yourself over your customers. Our next question is coming to us from Parimal Seth. Parimal?
With SMEs, Indian SMEs are really important for the Indian economy. Under this scenario, with RERA coming into play, we would like to know whether the prices of commercial real estate are going to be affected and coming down in this.
Is RERA is definitely impacting the entire industry. It's not if. What would you suggest to Parimal in terms of what some of the biggest changes are going to be?
RERA, you see, this does not mean that the prices will be controlled or this thing. It is first thing is on discipline side, that the builders, they will adhere to the discipline, and the project will be completed in time. And if the project are completed in time, costs are contained, and they should be in a position to offer at the better price. But again, the prices is a factor of demand and supply. So in various cities, you will see that the prices, real estate prices, commercial real estate prices are coming down or have come down. But in Mumbai, we find that it is not so.
See, Sunanda, if you look at the philosophy of any regulator, I myself come from the regulatory background. Regulators are all about bringing transparency in the operations of market participants. They are all about creating the level playing field, trying to protect the interest of the ultimate customer, and create those, the transparency benchmarks. Let me put it this way, right? So from that, and then they have no control over the prices whatsoever. So coming from that perspective, I don't think that there is a way to link the RERA with the pricing in the market. So I would essentially let the question of the pricing relationship be passed, but look at the philosophy of RERA to bring in the more transparency in the operations of the market participants and customers being better protected.
All right, that's in response to your question, Parimal. Our next query is coming to us from Puneet Chaudhary. Puneet?
Since we all know that the government procures 20% of their annual budgets from SMEs, and government is also the largest sponsor of infrastructure in the country, can we explore the extension of the same 20% or maybe another any different percentage in the infrastructure sector, so that the SMEs can supply to infrastructure sector and grow in the sector?
there aren't too many MSMEs in the higher end of the infrastructure space. But in the lower end, it's a very competitive, very sort of unfragmented industry. What would you have to say to Puneet?
So Sunanda, if you see the infrastructure business, that demands a lot of capital infusion. So by nature, infrastructure means a capital intensive business. So the government policies, though they talk about 20% of the sourcing being from the SMEs, they actually apply the same philosophy on the infrastructure side companies. When you are doing an infrastructure project, they tell you that in turn your 20% or whatever percentage of sourcing should be from the SMEs. So though there is no direct so to call infrastructure participation by the SMEs in the infrastructure business, but the SMEs do have an opportunity to do the same business with the vendors of the government in the infrastructure space. So they can't do that because SMEs by nature are lesser in the capital, access to capital is much smaller. So that's the way actually infra play can't be the SME play at all.
Sure.
Actually, SMEs play a very important role in any large industry. They are the in fact ancillary to large industries or even SME units. They are the EPC contractor, they are the O&M contractor, they are the supplier for the small equipments, they provide the labor, they provide the furnishing or electricals. These are the SME people who provide all these services. So generally what happens that whatever invest takes, a major part comes from the SME. They are playing a major role, and in infrastructure definitely they are playing a major role. I don't feel to say that or quantify that, but SMEs are already doing that, and they are doing a major part of those contracts.
All right, Puneet, that's in response to your question. Thanks for sending that one in to us. Our next query is coming to us from Deepesh Rambia. He's written in to us on Facebook to say he runs an event management company which is based right here in Mumbai. He says there's an abundance of supply and services in their market and demand is low. This is due to the lack of funds. What is the cause of the current situation and how can it be resolved? Without getting into the funds bit of it, and I will ask you experts to comment on that, in the previous season towards the end of December, we had done in fact a panel discussion speaking to companies in the event management space, and they said 2016 has been a bad year, 2017 will pick up. That clearly hasn't started happening yet and we are halfway into the year. What would you suggest?
I think event management, it is not only restricted to those big parties, marriage and all those things. Today I think they need to diversify. Small parties like a birthday party or even the children get together, or in the office monthly parties or annual parties and all these things, they can make them. They have to diversify into various this thing. Plus they have to make arrangement with the proper caterer or other supplier of the services.
So I would essentially advise that one has to really think which segment one wants to operate. It's important, as Steve Jobs used to say, I'm very proud of what I do and I'm also proud of what I don't do. Similar thing I think should happen here when one has to take a call, what exactly I would like to serve to. If something is not fitting in my philosophy or my ticket size, better to say no to that business rather than essentially jumping on everything and anything.
So Deepesh, the key for you will be differentiation, focus on that, about how you're able to stand out in this market because there are so many players there. We have time for one last question before we wrap this episode. That's coming to us from Rahul Beg, who's written to us on Twitter to say that he's into marketing B2B and his biggest challenge is executing the campaign. He says the lack of systems to help him with the marketing execution is the death of many great marketing ideas. Opportunities and relationships are lost because processes have failed. How can they execute their campaign in a proper and smooth manner? Gentlemen?
If you look at the question, actually he's coming from the point of view saying I'm doing the B2B marketing campaigns. The point is, in this business there are only two things, origination and execution. So I come to you as a business, you offer me that marketing campaign to run. Now it's for me to execute. When it comes to the execution, he's saying there's a failure, right? So execution, if you have to build, you have to essentially build the product, you have to build processes as he's talked about, and the people. If these three things are not in place, you will be a failure on execution. So I would essentially think here, while he has to build all these three, he has to pay attention to what Dr. C.K. Prahalad used to say. Dr. Prahalad said co-opetition. So essentially you compete, but at the same time cooperate wherever required. So essentially he has to my mind, while he builds the own team for executing well, he should look for someone good on the execution in the industry and basically go and collaborate. I think that's the way to go, and learn from that experience how to build and successfully execute. Otherwise this business will not survive for sure.
All right, Rahul, that's in response to your question. Always look for collaborations, and I guess that would also extend to having someone internally, possibly, who could bring you the required skill sets. Manish, Mr. Bajalia, thank you both very much for being with us here tonight. Time for a break. When we come back, we will bring you the story of executive mod car trends as well as Zonnett on our Small Giants segment. Do stay tuned. Back with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow, and tonight on our Small Giants segment, we're bringing you the story of executive mod car trends as well as Zonnett. Personalization is the new millennial buzzword, be it gifts, dietary plans or accessories. Therefore, personalizing cars is also now becoming very trendy, and helping automotive enthusiasts customize cars is Mumbai-based executive mod car trends. Shubhangi Sinha caught up with the founder to bring you tips on surviving in what is turning out to be a closely regulated industry. Take a look.
Some believe that true beauty lies on the inside, and car lovers do swear by the power of beautiful interiors. Incredible car modification can bring this to you and a lot more. Passionate automotive enthusiast and first-time entrepreneur Faisal Lainsay started the company Executive Mod Car Trends in 2006. Based in Mumbai, these innovative modifications can give global players a run for their money.
Faisal, it's been about 11 years that you've been running Executive Mod Car Trends, and you offer performance upgrades along with cosmetic upgrades for cars of all kinds. So what was the inspiration really to get on this journey, and how did you first start out?
The idea is just passion of a, you can say, a general boy, or everybody, boys are boys, so they have passion for cars. So I wanted to do something in car field or something. So I couldn't start a car manufacturing company. So I just wanted to start with something basic, what I could do. I could make a change for people, for passionate people, for middle class passionate people. That's how the whole idea of a car modification company came in place.
Right, so talking about the passion for cars then, we do know that the resale price of a modified car goes down, and so what is the kind of a clientele that you're able to then attract? Is it from the younger lot, or is it from the older one? So what's the kind of a clientele that you get?
So basically what you're saying is absolutely right. When you do the customization, they don't have value or anything. So but the clients are mentally ready before that, because whatever they believe they're going to spend is only for themselves. So it's for their satisfaction or their need or their passion. I initially thought the youngsters would be very much interested. Then I started off marketing in magazines, newspapers. But frankly speaking, I found it very difficult, to find the right clients, because we were not sure that, and we still aren't sure that who our basic clients are. We've been getting orders from all across India. We're getting passionate people from anywhere, any age.
So mixed bag then, essentially. Right, so now let us talk about the elephant in the room at this point in time when it comes to car modification, which always happens to be the regulation. How are you really able to keep up with the different regulations which surround this industry? How difficult or easy is it?
First of all, we try ourselves to keep updated and read the regulations of the RTO all the time, and we make it a point that we keep in track of if any regulations been changed or not. Whatever the specifications are not to be crossed, so we all keep that on mind, with the wheelbase, with the length, with the width, with the permissible criteria what is to be done on the vehicle. So we keep all that in mind.
Right. Right, so I reckon that in keeping with the regulations, you must need top quality, top-notch auto parts. How do you really source these? Do you import them or are they mostly locally sourced?
Mostly we try to, purchase it locally or nationally, but there are certain parts of which is some parts are unique, so we do import them, but that is, where you can say about 20% or 30% of the job what we do. But it's more of a handcrafted thing, so that is all locally purchased and developed in-house.
Right, so now I think we must really talk about the talent pool that is required to carry out a successful car modification. So is it easy to find the correct skilled people when it comes to designing and even executing the design on ground?
In terms of designing, there have been a lot of people who have been passionate in terms of career of doing automobile designing. And people have studied abroad in India, and various universities are available with the designing. So designing part is not as difficult, but when it comes to actual working, so all these workmen are they are all artists. So you have to be an artist to create something unique. So we find it extremely difficult to find these kind of workers. So with which we already have, we try to teach other people or give them training and then start learning this process, which does take time. But it's extremely difficult to find the right people to give the right finish and right design.
Right, so industries across the board are going through a digital revolution of sorts. What are the few things that companies like you can then keep in mind to be able to keep up with the changes?
Yeah, there's been a lot of change in social media and online marketing and presenting. So we've also diversified our attention from print media towards the digital media more. Comparatively, what we were only depending on the print media earlier on. So our companies also at the moment, since last 2 years, we've completely focused on the online marketing at the moment.
So Faisal, what are your expansion plans looking like in the next 5 years perhaps?
We are looking to give service all across India and have our sales team, representatives all across India. And in future, we are hoping and looking forward to go internationally, especially with the launch interiors, what we are doing.
Personalization is a key factor that millennials look for in their purchases. And a modified and customized car is what dreams are made of. After all, who doesn't like the roaring sound of a good-looking car in full throttle?
In a city like Mumbai, where drivers spend most of their time on the road with their foot on the clutch, this automobile servicing company was born as a result of real-life experiences of founders having to deal with a damaged car. Anshua Banerjee caught up with Zonnett to get a quick look at how the company is filling the gap for car owners to find a trusted car service provider at an affordable price.
One would always want nothing but the best for their cars, and while authorized service centers ask for a Herculean sum of money, local service centers are not that trustworthy when it comes to one's prized possession. Solving this problem for many car owners and shaping the fragmented automobile repair services segment in India is the auto repair startup Zonnett.
So going into this narrow niche must have been a challenge initially. So what led you to believe that there was a requirement in the market for a startup like Zonnett?
So here is where we believe that there is a very big gap for the car owners. The price discovery, you take your car to 3 different places, you get 3 different quotations for your car. A car owner is completely confused. He doesn't know what is the right quotation for him. And the idea of building a platform is to bring price discovery in a sector where the price discovery is the biggest challenge, to bring the trust and transparency in a sector which is a large sector. It's a $20 billion industry and still not catered by any of the modern startups or the technology startups. And our idea is to bring technology, convenience, transparency and trust to a sector which has not seen this in the past.
So car wash and maintenance startups are coming across in various cities, leveraging technology and creating their business models which are similar but not quite the same. So how did you choose yours?
So, modern startups have really not invested their mental bandwidth or, physical investment or let's say entrepreneurship bandwidth, to tackle this space in the past. And like for some other places, as you would have seen in the recent past, that how the modern technology have completely evolved a very traditional space. And this is exactly what we are doing in this space. It's a very large traditional $20 billion industry, which we are planning to transform through inclusion of price transparency, inclusion of price discovery, inclusion of trust, transparency, and modern business practices through technology.
So the car care market is a substantial unorganized sector since it's a low investment business. So how do you strategize pricing your products at par with the local garages in the city?
If you look at the inherent needs of a car owner, those needs go much beyond than just a technology platform which can connect the dots to a car owner to a nearby workshop. So our value addition or our proposition in this space is much beyond a traditional marketplace which just connects the dots between the car workshop and the car owner. We go into the standardization and price discovery of the services for the consumer. So if a consumer is coming to Zonnett, he is not really bothered whether he is going to a local workshop or he is going to a authorized center. He is coming to a Zonnett workshops which are branded and certified under Zonnett technical guidelines.
So we are all aware of the thousands of liters of water going down the drains at various service centers across the city while washing a car. So talk to us about your innovative idea of a zero water car wash.
Every car wash requires about 100 liters of water going down the drain. And being in a country where we are facing massive dot problems recently, especially in the state of Maharashtra, we came up with a very innovative car wash campaign, where we propagate that cars should not be washed using the water, and cars should be washed using eco-friendly solvents which are specifically meant for washing the car or for cleaning the car. Actually, these solvents, these cleaners are specifically designed to clean the car, and they cut down the water requirement almost to zero. It's just that the people are not aware about it.
So we are all aware that India is a warranty oriented country. So will servicing a car at Zonnett hamper the manufacturer's warranty?
Generally when a new car is bought, it comes with the OEM warranties which are applicable for first 2 years, on the engine component specifically. And this is where I think startups like Zonnett or other startups have to pay a lot of attention, that they shouldn't replace an engine part that voids warranties in first 2 years. And we take very careful steps to prevent any breaking of any warranties which are offered by OEMs on a car, on a customer that comes to us.
So I believe government regulations play a very important role in your business. So is there a set framework, and if not, then what are the challenges to work with a framework that is constantly changing?
So regulations of course play a very important role. The recent introduction of GST guidelines will help this sector a lot, because there was always a VAT component and there was always a service tax component in every car service involved, depending upon the part and the labor involved. The GST implications will really simplify everything. From the government regulations perspective, there is one very important thing on which government is working, which is making availability of spare parts by OEMs in the aftermarket basis, non-compete basis. Traditionally, we have seen that the spare parts from OEMs were not very easily available, but how government is enforcing new regulations and making them, they're making it a fair play for after sales market to compete with the OEM market through easy availability of OEM spare parts in the market.
So driven by the fact that you're in an industry that rely heavily on technology, talk to us about innovating in technology, since you're in an industry that is constantly changing.
I feel that startups have to innovate and employ technology right in the beginning of a sector. Especially in this sector, where technology has been completely not available. If you go to a local car workshop, they have absolutely no technology. They run the business the way they were running the business 200 years back. Manually on the papers, registers. Maybe they have a laptop at the most, but there is no technology. There is no ERP. There is no business process. There is no inventory management. There is no spare parts management which has been deployed by them. And this is where we believe that startup will play a major role in organizing this sector, from the unorganized sector the way it is right now.
A marketplace for local garages, Zonnett has more than 110 workshops under its banner in Mumbai and Pune. Bridging the large gap in the prices between the authorized service centers and local mechanics, Zonnett is working really hard under your car bonnet.
Completely out of time then on this episode of Leaders of Tomorrow. If you have anything that you would like to tell us or want to participate on the show, write in at leadersoftomorrowtimesgroup.com. Our official Twitter handle is LOT_ET now, or tweet at me personally at Sunanda_J, or reach us on our Facebook page, Leaders of Tomorrow on ET Now, or call us on that number you see on your screen. We promise to have all your questions answered. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.